Greetings all! Welcome to another trimester and welcome to this course, Understanding the Self. Welcome to this journey of getting to know who you are better. By the way, class, don't misunderstand ha. This course will not automatically let you understand yourself, okay? It will only give you the means of exploring your inner universe. It will only guide you by providing knowledge on how philosophers, ecologists, and scholars view the nature of the self. Because knowing the self is not an easy process. Knowing the self is, in fact, a lifetime process. So it's not an instant process. Okay, so without further ado, let's have the first lesson of this course entitled The Self in Various Philosophical Perspectives. So from the word itself, philosophical, philosophy. No? So ano nga ba itong philosophy, class? Philosophy in its simplest definition is the love of pursuit of wisdom. So in philosophy, we actually pursue a dynamic process. So philosophy, class, it is not just a compendium of thoughts. It's an activity. In fact, philosophy, it is a way of life that reflects passion, commitment, and intellectual ambition. The goal in philosophy is not just the achievement of knowledge, but the application of knowledge. That's why we say that in philosophy, the goal is wisdom. Talks about the fundamentals of life, knowledge, reality, existence, human nature. Is human bad or innately good? Talks about morality, ethics, politics, aesthetics, and so on. It also encourages us to ask questions and seek answers to these questions with the use of logic and reason. So questions such as, who am I? What am I living for? Why am I doing these things if at the end of the day I will die? And what will happen if I die? Okay, let's proceed with the first philosopher that we have in our list for today's video lecture. We have Socrates. Socrates, class, was hailed as the wisest man in Greece. But before we proceed, I want you to think of someone who has influenced your life in a way that he or she stimulated your thinking. Someone who made you think very deep about yourself and your life. Someone who made you realize the rightness and wrongness of things. Have you ever encountered this kind of person, class? So, yeah, natanong ko to because I want you to relate on the story of Socrates. So, in Greece before, during the time of Socrates, people were unthinking and unreflective. People just went with the drift of time, no? Go with the flow. They were like zombies, moving but dead. Worse, these people did not have any idea that they were like that. Socrates saw this one as something that is so problematic, so sick, a total amount of madness, despite all the mysteries that life had there to offer. So, Socrates wanted to actually wake these sleepwalkers from their boring lives and insisted to pursue a meaningful one. However, the problem was it is always very difficult to change something, especially when it is something that we are accustomed to, something na nakasanayan natin, no? When Socrates actively encourage people to change their way of life, of course, it was expected that they would retaliate, no? People found Socrates very, very annoying. Now, the thing is, in the Oracle of Delphi class, it was there where Socrates was actually pronounced as the wisest of men. No? However, Socrates was doubtful of this recognition. He did not see himself as someone who is wise. So he questioned what made people say he is wise. With this doubt in mind, Socrates did not stay still and literally sought out for answers. He did not stay at home and waited. In fact, Socrates was barely at his home. He preferred staying in agora or public place to meet different kinds of people, socialize, and find out if he is really the wisest. He asked himself, no? Am I really the wisest? Okay, so in his journey to find answers, he came to realize that he was not the wisest. Some people he met were wise in a different way. Of course, he also found out that he was a lot wiser than some. These were the people who claimed they were wise without proving that they were indeed wise. So walang ebidensya yung claim nila, class. They just ostentatiously said things just to impress people. Now, have you ever met these kinds of people, class? People who say a lot of things without matter. The pretentious character of being wise did not escape Socrates. He was able to point out that these people did not really know anything and said, at least I know that I know nothing. No? Mas mabuti pa ako kasi alam ko na wala akong alam. Get it, class? Socrates said, I am wiser because I know the things I do not know. Unlike these people who claimed that they know when the truth is they did not have any idea what I have in my mind. For Socrates, true wisdom is when one admits he knows nothing. That's why he said after that, there is only one thing I know, and that is, I know nothing. Class, this is the beginning of wisdom, according to Socrates. Knowing your limitations and weaknesses. Because when you claim you know everything there is to know, this is not wisdom. This is arrogance. This will only hinder you from becoming wise, from being great. In wisdom, there is humility. There is acceptance of your flaws and imperfections. When you know the things you don't know, isn't it what triggers curiosity? When you're curious, you ask questions. When you ask questions, more likely, you find answers to these questions. And finding answers to questions is knowledge. Applying this knowledge is wisdom. And that is the goal of philosophy. You see, the more questions, the more answers. The more knowledge, the more wisdom. So it is important to recognize that you don't know. With this, Socrates proposed the view of dualism. So it is a philosophical view that aside from our physical body, we also possess an immortal soul which survives the death of the body. It says that reality is dual, or basically two, no? Dual, two. By the way, Socrates' class is the first Western philosopher who mainly focuses on human self, because others focus on human nature, morality, epistemology, politics, religion, aesthetics, and so on. But Socrates focused on the self and the universe within the self. Anyway, according to this view, class, reality has two realms. We have the physical realm and the ideal realm. Physical realm is the one that is changeable, transient, and imperfect. This is exactly the world that we live in. This comprises everything that we see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. Things in this world change, transform, and die with time. Examples, we have money, no? So, house, car, everything that we own, everything that we actually possess. No? So these things, they come and go. They they appear one day and then they disappear someday, no? So they depreciate and get damaged. Some of them can be repaired or renovated. Example, our house, no? So when it gets damaged, we renovate it. If they won't work anymore, we dispose them. And of course, another example, class, of the thing another example of the thing that actually belong in the physical realm is our bodies mismo, no? As our age increases, our bodies change, get sick, get old, and eventually we'll die. Our bodies belong to the physical realm, no? So yun sabi ko kanina. Things in the physical realm, class, are temporary. The transient things. Things that do not last forever. Here's a penny for your thought, class, before we proceed, no? Have you noticed that most people in the world focus on the things that don't last forever? Some people become so obsessed in achieving these things, which would eventually perish one day. I don't know how Socrates would react if he were alive right now, no? Seeing these people becoming so fixated in achieving these material things. Now, on the other hand, let's continue. We have the ideal realm. This realm is unchanging, eternal, immortal, and perfect. The very opposite of physical realm. And this includes the essence of the universe, the idea of truth, goodness, wisdom, and beauty. Although we can pinpoint examples in the physical world which are truthful or beautiful, however, these examples are limited and imperfect. Because um we cannot be truthful all the time, no? We cannot be honest all the time. The same thing with beauty. One may be beautiful, but how about 50 years from now? Can we confidently say that that someone is still beautiful? How about in the eyes of other people? Maybe one can be beautiful for you, but awful and ugly for others. Another thing is being good. We cannot be good all the time. Sometimes we become bad. Maybe sometimes a little bit mad. You see, this is what we meant when we say that everything in the physical realm, is limited and imperfect. It is only in the ideal realm that perfection and eternal things exist. What is the best example that exists in the ideal realm? No? So, actually, class, this is the main concern of Socrates. Socrates believes that if our body is the physical realm, our soul is the ideal realm. For Socrates, the soul is immaterial substance. It is unchanging and immortal. It survives even death of the body. The soul is the core identity of man. It is the most important thing. That's why it is necessary that we sustain it more than anything else. It is unique spirit that makes us distinctively us. It's our authentic personalities, our distinctive characters. It is what makes us unique from everything in this world. It is a life form that shapes itself from the decisions and experiences made on daily basis. This is what makes us who we are. Funny thing is, just like what I told you earlier, class, most people focus on what they can see, such as what is comprised in the physical world, forgetting that the most important thing is the one that we cannot see. For example, no, the soul. How about you, class? Do you think the soul is immortal? Do you think even after we die, our souls will continue to live in another world? Who knows, right? But for Socrates, the answer is yes. Another thing, Socrates believes that every soul aims happiness. Every soul wants to be happy. However, sometimes the soul fails to achieve happiness because of the wrong path it chooses to take. For Socrates, the happy soul is the one who is virtuous and reflective. one who is wise and just, one who has the courage to examine life. You see, class, many people may have lots of money, have high rank, good career, but still are not happy. Have you ever noticed that? Some may have good grades in school, reputation, and title in the society, but still, they are not happy. They still lie awake at night and find themselves feeling sad. Why, class? No? Bakit nga ba hindi sila masaya? According to Socrates, it's because they fail to pursue a virtuous and reflective life. They are not happy because of their ignorance. Maybe these things can give happiness, but is it something that can give peace? People tend to devote themselves in obtaining these material things, assuming that they can give lasting happiness. Funny thing is, they even come to a point that they harm others just to get what they want. These people are what Socrates called moving but dead, no? So they are adrift. They only go with the motion of time. They may be the richest, most influential, renowned, but their souls are corrupted, no? So they are ignorant of the right path to take. No? So what's the right path? Again, the right path is the virtuous and the reflective one. So, with this class, Socrates also believes that people are not inherently evil. So, they are good. They're just unaware of what goodness is. No? So, they are just ignorant of the ways to become truly happy. So, ito yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina. And this is exactly what Socrates considered his goal. To make these people become aware of what is important. Even at the expense of his own image, class, no? Kaya nga kinaiinisan si Socrates before because he was so passionate, no? He was so passionate in telling people that they have to change their lives. But yun na nga, it was very difficult because people were accustomed to that life. So, um, this idea leads us to what Socrates said, that an unexamined life is not worth living. Therefore, no, our obligation is to live our life to the fullest, to achieve genuine happiness. Neglecting this class means we are wasting our life. According to Socrates, we must actively exercise the power of our souls. We must live reflecting over the questions: who am I? What is my purpose? For whom do I wake up every morning? No? So, kagaya sa advertisement, para saan at bumabangon ako. Okay? So, we need these questions because asking these questions means grabbing the opportunity to examine life. You see, class, no matter how busy we are, we should give ourselves time to reflect. No matter how tired we are because of our daily chores, and no matter how suffocating it is to live with our baggage and our worry, we have to take a breath and still provide us rooms for reflection in order to analyze life in a deeper sense. When we analyze, we use our reasoning power, and according to Socrates, the gift of human reason provides us with extraordinary ability to not just to live, but to examine our life so that we make it worth living. That's why, to quote Socrates, know thyself. No? Know thyself, class, and only then you can be truly happy. Alright? So, yeah, that's that's it for Socrates. It's actually time to proceed with the second philosopher. We have Plato. Plato class was actually committed to the teachings of Socrates, and for the most part, he agreed with Socrates. Of course, trivia class, Plato is the student of Socrates, and for the information of everybody, Plato was the one who put the teachings of Socrates into writing because Socrates class during his time did not bother to write and publish books. It was actually Plato who did all the note taking. So very diligent na estudyante si Plato class, no? So Plato agreed with Socrates in his view of dualism. However, he also acknowledged the inherent difficulties with this view. Ang tanong niya, how is it possible that the self remains the same when it is obvious that every self is defined by the process of continual change and evolution? Remember, according to Socrates, the soul is perfect. The soul is unchanging. So the soul is exactly the same from the moment we were born until it will continue to exist after the death of our bodies. But it's not the same with Plato. Plato did not agree with this, although he agreed that there are two realms, and the self is composed of the body and the soul. No? Plato believed that if the body experiences change and transformation, the soul is also the same. The soul also undergoes the same process of growth and development. Because if you think about it, class, you are different from the person you were ten years ago, from that person yesterday. Although it is still you, however, you've changed a lot. Physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. No? Plato insisted that, unlike the gods, the human soul is not immortal. And this becomes our obsession. This is the reason why we prize our children so much. They become our living legacy and the one who will fill in the vacancy when it's time for us to leave this world. They become the part of us that we leave the world when we die. That's why, class, grabe yung passion natin, no, in taking care of our children, because we want to live something in this world, and it is through them, right? Now, also, Plato expanded Socrates' view of the soul and presented a chariot analogy. Okay, so here's how the chariot looks like, class. No, a chariot was very popular vehicle before. Now, according to Plato, class, the chariot has three main parts. Okay, so first we have the charioteer or the driver. The charioteer represents the rational soul, rational reasons. This is divine essence which enables us to think deeply and think rationally. And our soul, this is the intelligent part. And our soul has another two parts, no? So the second part is the horse within us, no? So what I mean to say is that we have a wild horse within us, class. So this is the appetitive soul, which is responsible for our biological drives such as hunger, thirst, and sexual drives. Now, the other horse is called the noble horse. It represents our passionate soul. It includes our emotions such as love, anger, sadness, determination, empathy, and so on. Now, how about you, class? No? So do you have these three parts of the soul within you? Do you have the rational part? Do you also have the biological part and the passionate part? So, yeah, of course, all of us have these three parts within us. According to Plato, these parts are in dynamic relationship with one another. There are times that there is a balance among the three, and all of them are properly controlled. But there are also times that they are in conflict with one another. For instance, what if one of these parts or elements is not okay? So expected, the three cannot work in harmony. To better understand this, let's use this analogy. Say you are the charioteer and you want to travel using your chariot. Before traveling, you have to make sure that you, as the charioteer, are in the right condition. Your horses are okay. You check your wheels as well. You have to feed your horses, make sure that everything is okay. But imagine, what if in the middle of the road your wild horse feels hungry or sick? Or what if the noble horse would be too lazy to walk? Surely the travel won't be easy. travel would be bumpy. All the more when it's you, the charioteer, who's not feeling well. What if you find yourself in the middle of the road and you're not sure of the path to take? Or you know where to go, but you don't know how to control these two horses. You don't know how to control your biological desires and emotions. So at the end, class, they may end up controlling and or consuming you. Also, you see, only one of these parts is not functioning well and the harmony would be disturbed. The balance would surely be lost. Now, like Socrates' class, Plato also believed that the aim of every soul is happiness. But Plato emphasized that happiness can only be achieved when we put the rational soul in control over our appetite and emotion. But it does not mean that we neglect our two horses, no? The appetite and the emotion. But if ever there is a conflict, it should be the rational soul that should take responsibility and settle the conflict. This lesson class is very useful in making decisions in our lives. Choosing our careers, for example. Would you rather choose a job that would benefit you and the common good or something that would benefit you alone? So, kagaya ng nangyari sa Korean series na Squid Game. Would you risk your life and principles and other people's lives because of money in a deadly game? Or would you choose to work your butts out still by doing a decent job? That's the question, and it's up to you. Again, if you want to be happy, according to Plato, let the charioteer be in control. Alright, so the third one we have, ayan, Aristotle. Aristotle is very famous across many disciplines. He was the student of Plato class. Also, Socrates, yung estudyante niya si Plato, and then yung estudyante ni Plato is Aristotle. But unlike Plato, who was loyal to Socrates, Aristotle rejected dualism. Instead, he proposed a similar view, which is hylomorphism, which says that a being is a compound of form and matter. Okay? So, when we say matter, it's the common stuff that makes up the universe, the physical things that we see in the world. On the other hand, the form is the essence of a thing that makes it what it is. This is what distinguishes between living and non-living things. Basically, in this case, matter is the body, while the form is the soul. So if the form and the matter are combined together, they form a substance. You see, Aristotle's hylomorphism is quite similar with dualism of Plato and Socrates. It's just that the form and matter require each other to form a substance. So they are the requisite of each other. One cannot exist without the other. So this is a different class from dualism, which states that even if the body dies, the soul will continue to exist because it's immortal. But for Aristotle, once the body dies, the soul also dies. So basically, the soul and the body live and die together. Okay, so in this video lecture class, we talked about three great philosophers. We have Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. I hope that you learned something. Hang in there, class, because we're just getting started. So we will discuss how other philosophers view the self next video lecture. So for your activity, it's entitled Magkaiba o Magkatulad. Here are the steps. Answer this question. Which do you believe? Dualism or hylomorphism? Why? Make a 1 to 2 minute video presentation. Make sure you appear in the video. Upload the video in YouTube. Send the link in Moodle. Turn in the link in the assignment folder. Criteria for grading are as follows. content or substance, 10 points. Originality, 10 points. Compliance, 10 points. A total of 30 points. Thank you very much, class.